Hey guys, today we're building a squirrel cafe because I've been home so long. This feels like a normal idea. Plus, we're gonna meet Matt Cremona. It's time for a make or break. Hey guys, welcome back to Make or Break, where we share our favorite maker videos of the week. And of course, we challenge ourselves to build a project of our own. I'm Rob, and this week I looked outside and I saw a ton of squirrels eating food in the lawn and on the trees, like barbarians do. So I decided to take it upon myself to build them a proper cafe. This, people, is the new normal. Well, the squirrel picnic tables have been really popular over the last few weeks on the internet, and seeing as the lockdown has left me with the options of talking to my family or watching the squirrels, I thought it was time to jump on the bandwagon. My parents have been staying with us the last couple of weeks, and I'll explain why in the description. It's not that important. But my dad decided to help out. I designed our little tables around only two different pieces, one 8 inches and the other being 4.5 inches for the miter legs. We took a leftover treated cedar 2x4 and decided to cut it to length first to make our table saw cut shorter. Now, my dad's a finished carpenter, and his level of precision is measured in 64ths, while mine is more of a fits or don't fit kind of thing, so I let him square up the 2x4s first and then cut it down to 3/4 inch strips. I kept reminding him to either use a gripper or a push stick, but old dogs. So if you see him use his bare hands anywhere in the segment, don't do that. Next, we cut 11-inch strips for the legs, ripped them down to 3/4 inch as well, and then cut 30-degree miters at 4.5-inch lengths. I figured that a half-pound squirrel wouldn't need any more than glue holding his table together, but my dad insisted we do better. So we used pocket holes in all the legs since they'd be supporting everything else. My dad has 45 years of carpentry experience, so when he has a different way of doing things, I've learned it's best just to let him do it. Next, it was time to sand down all the parts. We aggressively sanded the edges of the 8-inch pieces to give the wood a bit of a bevel. Then we started assembly. We first glued together the tabletops, then glued and screwed in the legs. Next, we attached the cross support with glue and a couple brad nails to hold them in place while they dried. Finally, we added the seats because, squirrels gotta sit down, am I right? The last step was to add a mounting plate that we could easily screw into a tree. Now, my daughter was kind enough to donate a few dollhouse plates that we screwed in place, and then screwed the tables directly to the trees. We baited them with peanut butter, and we waited. We haven't seen the squirrels use them yet, but the peanut butter keeps disappearing, so we know something is eating it. That'll have to be good enough for now. So far, the restaurant's been open for like 3 days, and every single morning, all the nuts and the peanut butter is missing. So someone is eating at the Make or Break Cafe, but I just can't seem to catch them in the act. Now, I'm sure I will eventually, and when I do, I'll be sure to post it to Instagram, so be sure to follow us there at Belts and Boxes. Okay, every week we like to take time out to meet a maker, and this week we get to meet Matt Cremona. Now, Matt's been on YouTube for nearly 14 years, and his sawmill videos are some of my absolute favorites. He's often found collaborating with several of our other favorite makers, including April Wilkerson and Mark Spagnolo. Here he is.
Hey Rob, hey Sarah, thanks for having me. I'm Matt. I am passionate about making things from the trees all around us, so my videos focus on the entire process of finding a tree, maybe hauling that log somewhere, sawing it up into lumber, drawing that lumber, making your heirloom piece of furniture, and applying a finish to it. So I think the unsung hero in my shop is the jointer. Not only do the tables make great places to store crap, it also makes the entire furniture making process so much easier. This thing makes your lumber nice and flat and square, and that is an essential part of the dimensioning process. If you have a nice square flat board, the entirety of the rest of the build is going to go so much more smoothly than trying to fight with wood that's all warped and bendy and goofy. My all-time favorite project has got to be my secretary desk and bookcase. That was my first big furniture build that came all the way from a tree. So I had the entire process from cutting down the tree, cutting it up into lumber, drying it, and turning it into a beautiful piece of furniture, which at the time when I started the build, I had absolutely no business building that thing because I had no idea what I was doing. But in actually jumping off the deep end and getting into that project, I learned a lot about furniture making and became a much better woodworker in the process. I'd like to give a shout out to Philip Morley. He has some really amazing videos here on YouTube, and he makes some really amazing pieces of furniture. Due to COVID-19, the things that I'm working on have shifted a little bit. Things I was planning on doing now are sort of on hold. So I was building a new trailer that is on hold until the quarantine ends. So I'm trying to stay busy here in the shop doing some things that probably don't really need to be done. So I cut up some old end grain cutting boards and made some chaos boards. I'm also in the process of tearing apart my Bridgeport mill and rebuilding it. So it's very dynamic this time in the shop.
Thanks so much, Matt. If you guys are not yet familiar with Matt, you can find him at Matthew Cremona on YouTube and Matt Cremona on Instagram. Moving on to a few of our favorite maker videos this week. The first one was sent to us by an Instagram buddy, Wooden Laser, who's dealing with the lockdown by building a bowling alley in their backyard with an actual reclaimed alley. Of course, you can't be expected to lug a ball back and forth, so they built a ball return too. Izzy still can't seem to make anything normal, which is why we love him. This week he wanted to try using Bendy Board, an extra pliable plywood, to make a Dr. Seuss inspired piece of furniture. And just look at that thing. It turned out beautiful. Anyone else have a creative idea for Bendy Board? Leave it in the comments below. I want to try it out. Okay, so this next guy is a new maker to me. He's called the Swedish Maker. This week he posted part 1 of his massive workbench build. I love the simplicity of his workbench design, and we have a job site Milwaukee table saw, the M18 one, that really needs a better home here in our workshop, so I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for part 2. Another new maker I ran across this week is Brothers Make, who use recycled HDPE or high-density polyethylene to make cool, reusable stuff. This week they made a fold-flat coffee cup carrier by melting down old bottle caps and milk cartons, blending them together to make this beautiful, cool pattern. And then they cut out a clever carrier design. I had no idea this was even a thing, but I love it. Okay, that's it for this week, guys. I want to quickly thank HART for sponsoring our episode and reminding us that we can do anything if we do it with HART. I also want to remind you that every Tuesday and Thursday you can catch Sarah right here again on Belts and Boxes with her new show, Top 5 DIY. Now, I know a lot of you guys miss Sarah. Trust me, I do too. Some of the rules for the lockdown have changed here in Ohio just this last week, and we are currently in discussions that may mean that we can bring Sarah back just to shoot our episodes and the interviews every week starting next week. So crossing my fingers, super excited. You may see us here in masks or standing a little bit further away from each other, which is great for me because she can't reach me and hit me anymore. But I'll let you know. So be sure to check back here next week. All right, break's over. Let's make something.